even if there were wrong things that were done or committed by Sonko. And then the best way was the law to be followed and what the Constitution says. If the governor is not performing, there are different approaches that needs to be done and needs to be seen to be followed. Instead of doing that, instead of allowing the MCAs and those who are involved in controlling government public funds to be allowed to operate according to the law, Sonko was made to transfer the functions to somebody called Major General Mbandi. I have no bad feelings with Mbandi. He's a Kenyan, he can serve, he's serving. But the approach and the way he was brought in, it was wrong. Then we saw Elachi and the misunderstanding between herself and Mohammed and the other team, which brought chaos in those days. Things were started to calm down in Nairobi, but instead of allowing it now to take its course and see that things are control or under control, what happened now is a chaotic situation where we are seeing now this team fighting this. And the most devastating thing now is when the police went there now to calm the situation. I don't see and I cannot understand, and I want the Inspector General of Police to look at this thing critically and very seriously. We have grown up. We have gone to school. We understand what law means. And we know how to obey the law. But to walk inside a building and start throwing tear gas inside a building to people who are not harmed, and because they are just running from this corner to that corner, instead of police just walking in and say everybody should stop what he is doing and the door is open there, walk out. They go in, they talk to nobody, they question no one, and instead they start throwing tear gas inside the building. Some women are pregnant who are there. Others have got very serious health problems. And nobody has ever established who is not well and who is well. But instead they started throwing tear gas. And then it all turned out to be a situation that was not controllable. And in the process, the police now rained on one Mutheu MCA from Lango Kubwa, who was beaten viciously when she was seated down. They started to beat her when she was standing until she went down to sit down, and they never stopped. The question is this: even if the police went there to calm the situation, did really Mutheu deserve to be beaten because she was not harmed? She was not even carrying her own handbag as a woman. She had only her phone and the earphones wire that she could use just to communicate with her phone through her phone. But she was not harmed. And police to beat such an innocent lady, it is against human rights, it's against civil liberties, and it is against the law. So I want to ask Mutyambai, wherever he is, the Inspector General, to make sure those officers are arrested and locked in. And it must be an example of inserting discipline to our officers, because they cannot be allowed to behave like that. The work of the police is to assist. Come, what is the problem? Why are you late? Where do you stay? We will escort you to go home, but don't be late again. That's where it should be started. That person should be booked and be given the first warning. The second one, the third time, if he does not listen, you take him and lock him inside and prosecute that person. But to start by beating people, grown-ups, we saw people being offloaded, taken out from their vehicles, and they are being turned to hold their vehicles and be caned on their buttocks like students. Hii mambo hii imepitwa na wakati, na hakuna nchi inaweza kutawaliwa namna hii. Hakuna nchi wa Kenya wanaweza kwenda namna hii. So I'm sending this message very seriously to say that Mutheu, those who committed those crimes on her should be arrested, be prosecuted and be punished, and Mutheu should be compensated by the government, and it must be done straight away to the point without wasting time. Mambo yani ambao inataka kufuatiliwa na inataka kusingatiwa kulingana na vile sheria inasema, lakini kuitwa polisi waitwa waambiwa hapa kuna shida na watu wanagombana na kuingia ndani na kurusha vitoa majozi ndani ya nyumba, ambao kuna wanawake wajawazito, kuna watu wengine hali ya afya yao ni mbaya, hawastahili kupikwa tiangas, hawastahili kusikia mfuke wake. Sasa wanafika pale wanapigwa na tena tiangas zinatupwa ndani ya nyumba. Na chanzo cha mambo hayo ni serikali kuchukua uongozi wa kaunti ya Nairobi kwa njia ambao haifai, kwa sababu Sonko awe mjinga, awe mwerefu, awe nini, au mwenda wazimu, watu wa Nairobi walimchakua akiwa namna hiyo. Na kwa sababu sheria iko na imewekwa kusema kwamba ikiwa gavana afanyi kazi namna hii, sheria ifuatwe namna hii. Ikiwa gavana anatumia mali ya umma vibaya, sheria ifuatwe namna hii. Na kuna huo mwenendo ambao unaweza kufuatwa. Lakini kuingia na kuchapa huyu msichana namna hiyo kwa sababu ya ugomvi ambao haujulikani umetokea wapi, hii haifai. Kwa hivyo kaunti ya Nairobi inafaa irudishiwe mheshimiwa Governor Sonko, arafu kuna MCS kule, wao wafanye kazi yao kulingana na vile sheria inasema. Kama ni kumuimpeach Sonko, wamuimpeach Sonko, aende ajitetee. Akitolewa hapa kuna Senate iende angalie mambo yake, ajitetee. Kesi yake ikishindikana, yeye aende nyumbani. Lakini kumtendea vile anatendewa ni vibaya sana. Kwa hivyo nataka mkuu wa Police Inspector General Hilary Muthama ahakikishe kwamba hawa watu wamekamatwa, wamepelekwa kotini na wamehukumiwa. And I want to say this. It is high time that the police officers in this country behaves responsibly. They must behave. They must show that they are in charge. They must show that they are responsible.